everyone, and welcome to Daily Newspaper Analysis. We hope that you had a good, happy, and learning weekend. With this, let's start our week with this newspaper analysis today. So, we have one article that is, we have taken an editorial from the Hindu newspaper. The title of today's article is India's Judiciary and the Slackening Cog of Trust. So, I would like to inform you in advance that today's article has huge amount of data that you can superbly use in your essay paper. So I really suggest that if you like any particular data, you may please note it down and you may start using it into various different kinds of aspects. This is really going to get you various brownie points that we are all looking for in the exam. So this article, all in all, talks about the judiciary and how the problem of corruption, the problem of vacancies, the problem of pendency of cases, all of these are slackening our judicial system in the country. The second one we have is for news update. In this, we'll be talking about the important news points, important awards, appointments, etc. They can be directly asked in our exam. And thirdly, we have the legal news, wherein we'll be covering the most important latest case laws for the day. So let's discuss the article for the day, which talks about the faith in judiciary. So here, let's begin with the very, amazing and appropriate saying by Aristotle that it is in justice that the ordering of the society is centered. So, however, the society is, it depends upon the justice delivery system of that particular society, that how will be the order of the entire society and how will it be centered. Thus, we can say that when we talk about the Indian society as well, the Indian system as well, so the justice delivery system is something that we can focus upon about understanding the entire setup of the society. So when we say so, yet a vast majority of countries in the world have highly corrupt judiciaries. So judicial corruption takes two forms. Firstly, it can be of political nature, and the second can be bribery. Now, when we talk about the political interference, so it says that in the judicial process, there could be interference by the legislative or executive branch, and bribery, of course, we all understand that we pay some amount of money or we give some kinds of, cash or kind to get our work done. Now, when we talk about the political interference, why is it something that is not encouraged, especially in the Indian system, is that when we talk about the Indian setup, Article 50 talks about the separation of judiciary and legislature. Basically, we talk about the separation of powers in our system. The basic purpose of having the separation of powers was done so that there is no interference, undue interference, basically, between or amongst any of the systems or any of the segments of the government, be it the legislature, the executive, or the judiciary. But unfortunately, this has existed and this has existed in the Indian system as well. Now let's talk about the erosion of justice, which is a distinction, let's say. So many outdated or dysfunctional laws or statutes have not been repealed because of the tardiness of the legal reform, both at the union and the state government levels. For example, if we talk about the Citizenship Amendment Act as well, and even if we talk about, there is one more provision that is still a part of the Indian Penal Code 1860. If you can name that particular provision along with the section, do put it down in the comment section below. So whenever with this particular section is into news, we always say that it was brought in by the Britishers to curb the people so that they're not able to raise anything against or any voice against the government. And today, if we talk about freedom of speech and expression, this particular section or this provision of the Indian Penal Code is actually something that is contrary in the nature of freedom of speech and expression. So if you know exactly which section or which provision am I talking about, put it down in the comment section below. Let us see how many of you get to the right answer. So it says the tortious delay in the delivery of justice is the case of Lal Bihari. So what happened was that he was officially declared dead in the year 1975, wherein he struggled to prove that he was alive, though he was deceased in all the government records, and finally he was declared alive in 1994. Now, can you consider that what kind of a life would happen to this particular person who is declared dead even though he's completely alive? And that it took him so many years to prove to the government, to prove to the state that he was alive. Next, let's see that when we talk about the erosion of justice under the different regimes, let's see how does it happen. So Transparency International, now here are those points, please guys, that I was mentioning, that you can use them in your essays, in your particular answers, even when you're quoting your any instance, then you can definitely use these facts and data. So according to the Transparency International, 45% of people who had come in contact with the judiciary between July 2019 and July 2010 had paid a bribe to the judiciary. So this is something really that comes as a shock to all of us, that 45%, that's approximately half of the people, paid bribery to the judicial system to get their work done. Then, according to the Asian Human Rights Commission April 2013 report, so the estimates show that for every 2 rupees in the official court fees, at least 1,000 is spent in bribes. So can you understand that it is actually a huge amount for that matter? And according to the Freedom House's Freedom in the World 2016 report for India, it states that the lower levels of the judiciary in particular have been rife with corruption. So we can say that they have been, higher cases over there. So the bribes are and irregular payments are often exchanged in return for favorable court decisions. That definitely is something that we all know about, this unfortunate truth, but that is existent. And then Tesazari District Court Senior Civil Judge Rashna Tiwari Lakhanpal, she was arrested in September 2016 for allegedly accepting a bribe. So extrajudicial killings by the police and lynching, they are definitely something we can't really hide away from. And let's now learn about the case pendency as well. So if we see over here, so we have 2 crore 41 lakh 86,566. That is indeed a huge number. So these many number of cases are pending in India's district courts, of which 23 lakh 17,000 approximately, that is 9.58%, have been pending for over 10 years, and approximately 16.44% of them have been pending for between 5 to 10 years, according to the National Judicial Data Grid 2017. And this is another very amazing, fact or data that you can quote in your exam. So then high courts, we have that 458 of the 1,779 posts, representing 42% of the sanction strength, were vacant as of June 2016. So when we talk about the vacancy and the pendency, please understand that there is no direct correlation, because there have been cases wherein some high courts had lesser vacancy but still they had more pendency, and the vice versa as well. But still, of course, if we are not working on the optimal of our power, that is optimal of our capability, then definitely there is a higher chance that the pendency of cases would be higher. Now, as this also says that as of June 2016, 42% of the sanctioned posts in the high courts were vacant. So definitely this should not be the scenario that should prevail in the country. And then trust in the judiciary marginally rises with the proportion of under trials until the threshold. So it decreases beyond that point as the proportion of under trial inmates rises. Now, when we talk about the trust in judiciary, everyone, this is a very important point to understand as normal citizens as well. For example, when we go about the cases of mob lynching, so when we say that this is instant justice, what do we say? That this was a procedure to give the society instant justice. This mob lynching takes place because many a times it is seen that the people believe that if this case goes into the courts, it will only linger around for years and years and no justice will come up. And thus, we as individuals of the society should take this responsibility to dispense this instant justice. Do you not think that this is actually injustice at the hands of people? And definitely there is a lack of trust that people have in the judiciary. That is why they take this entire judicial system into their own hands. Another very famous example, guys, that recently when there was a case of a rape case wherein the Hyderabad police had taken out the criminals, taken out the accused for a run through of the entire event or the entire crime. So during that, they were all killed in the encounter. Though, of course, the police said that, they were trying to flee away, they were trying to run away. And so in our self-defense and so on and so forth, we had to kill them and encounter them. But what do you think? We all know in some or the other way what the truth was. But that was actually hailed and that was actually, celebrated by the society, even maybe you and I. So that was because we believe that if this case will go into judicial system, it will only linger around for years and no proper justice will come out, just as we were all disappointed in the case of Nirbhaya until all of them were finally awarded the death sentence. So definitely the lack of faith that we have developed in the Indian judiciary is one of the biggest reasons that we as individuals are not willing to take up our grievances to the judiciary, and that should definitely not be the case. Now let's see, what do we have for news updates today? Firstly, John Lee elected as Hong Kong's next leader. So Hong Kong has formally confirmed John Lee as its next top leader after an uncontested election, solidifying an era of more direct Chinese political control over the once freewheeling financial hub. Second, Sherpa Kami Rita breaks own Everest record. So the Nepalese Sherpa guide Kami Rita has scaled Mount Everest for 26th time, breaking his own record, settling a new world record. More than 300 people have died trying to conquer the world's highest peak. So Rita works as one of the many highly skilled Sherpa guides who assist the foreign climbers who come to Nepal wanting to reach the top of the mountain, a feat that has been achieved more than 10,657 times. Let's see the third one. Pushp Kumar Joshi takes over as the chairman and managing director of Hindustan Petroleum. So Pushp Kumar Joshi on Sunday took over as the new chairman and managing director of India's third largest oil refining and fuel marketing company, that is Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited. So prior to this, Dr. Joshi was a director in the HR of the corporation from August 1, 2012. Fourthly, Cyclone Asani. So this is important that it is arisen in the Bay of Bengal. So Cyclone Asani, formed over the southeast Bay of Bengal, has intensified into a severe cyclone storm and moved into the direction of North Andhra Pradesh Odisha coasts. Alert has already been sounded in Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, and West Bengal as these states are likely to experience heavy rains from tomorrow. Fifth and the last for the news update, we have the Ladli Laxmi Yojana 2.0. Shivraj Chauhan, that is basically Madhya Pradesh, launched the Ladli Laxmi Yojana 2.0 at Ladli Laxmi Utsav. So this scheme is an innovative initiative to encourage the daughters to pursue higher education and make them self-dependent. So the decision has also been taken to honor Gram Panchayats as Ladli friendly Panchayat who have done remarkable work for the economic empowerment, skill enhancement and protection of rights along with nutrition, health and education of the daughters and to boost their self-confidence. Let's see what do we have for our legal updates today. Firstly, the court in cases of PMLA cannot proceed on the basis of a preponderance of probability, says the Supreme Court in the case of J.Sekar as Shekhar Reddy versus the Directorate of Enforcement. So if you know the full form of PMLA as well, please let us know. If not, then we'll let you know in the next session for sure. I would love you all to give me the right full form of PMLA. Very recently in one of our discussions, we also discussed about this in the entire editorial discussion. So the Supreme Court has observed that in the cases of PMLA, the court cannot proceed on the basis of preponderance of probabilities. And it was also observed that it is incumbent upon the court to look into the allegation and the material collected in support thereto, and then to find out whether the prima facie offense is made out or not. Secondly, pending litigations between parties cannot be the sole ground to quash criminal proceedings under Section 482 of the CRPC, according to the Jharkhand High Court in the case of Chetan, Adesera and others versus State of Jharkhand. So the Jharkhand High Court has held that merely because there is a case and a counter case between the parties, or merely because there has been a title suit amongst the parties, the same is not a sufficient cause to quash the criminal proceedings instituted by one of them against the other. So this was all for the day. We hope you liked the session. If you do like the session, you may also subscribe to our channel for such more updates. Thank you so much.